Hey everyone, welcome to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
I'm Jaime Fuego.
And we are here live from the Phoenix Film Festival 2018, also the International Horror and Sci-Fi Film Festival, which is the main part that we are covering.
Damn right.
We have a sprinkling of Phoenix Film Festival movies, but as you guys know, we're here for the horror. And the first review that we're going to be talking about today is, I think, the one that we want to discuss the most.
Absolutely.
And that is the follow-up by, go ahead, Fuego. It's the RKSS people, if I'm not mistaken.
That is right, man. We are talking Summer of '84, man. There's a lot of noise and stuff going on here. And follow-up to Turbo Kid, obviously, which is one of my favorite films a couple years ago. This is in a definite different tone, but still has some of their slick sensibilities and just kind of throwback feel of Turbo Kid, but a different film entirely.
Yes. So we'll do the review like we normally do our reviews, which is an overall sort of... You're good. You're good. We'll do this as sort of our normal reviews where we'll talk about our overall thoughts, then we'll talk about what we thought of the story, the acting, the effects, all that good stuff in turn.
I'm excited.
And, overall, I'll say that I love the movie. It of course, the easiest way to describe it is it's a new version of Rear Window. Essentially.
In a lot of ways, yes, but mixed with some Stranger Things sensibilities, obviously.
Some Stranger Things,
but a more mature,
Turbo Kid,
a more mature approach than Stranger Things. Though, imagine those same vibes, but just a little later in the '80s, and they're like teenagers now.
Right. Now, I really enjoyed it. It definitely. It felt so earnest, and I think you described it first, and then I definitely agreed that it felt like a little more grown-up Stranger Things. Like
yes.
They grew up a little bit. But not entirely. They're just kind of teenagers now.
Yeah. They're dropping F-bombs now and talking much more like lying about sex and stuff like that.
Right.
It reminded me of being like 15, 16 years old.
Absolutely.
It really did.
Very successfully. And the movie was super enjoyable as a result of that. I mean, the story itself is... why don't you go ahead and do the story for you?
Yeah, the story is very simple premise here. This kid thinks that a serial killer is living next door to him in suburbia. That's pretty much all that you need to know. He convinces his band of buddies, his three best friends, that they need to start investigating it. But the interesting twist is that the serial killer is like a celebrated like town sheriff officer kind of person, and someone who no one would ever suspect could do such horrible things. And so that's why nobody believes him, at least at first.
Right.
And that's about it. So.
Yeah, and they do play the is he isn't he game for a little while.
They do,
but
quite well.
But yeah, that makes for a super solid plot to the movie. Honestly, the isn't he or is he isn't he kind of thing, and why don't they believe him? Do they believe him? Should they believe him?
Because you think there's no possible way that could be happening, and they really play with the possibility very well.
Absolutely. So the story was, well, basically from there it's just the kids like go, kid surveillance style.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Beat after beat, using their walkie-talkies, looking at just like following him around,
creeping and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's a lot of good fun. So,
no one's paying attention.
No, not at all. It's a lot of good fun, but the acting is what we should jump to next.
We really need to.
It was just phenomenal. I loved all the kids. I love the adults
teens,
too.
I guess. They're not quite kids. Yeah.
Well, they're not 18 yet, so they're kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I thought that the main kid was great. His sort of crush is really good.
The older babysitter that's about to move away, and yet he's got the hots for her, obviously. And he had a nice beat of buddies. I mean, they were kind of cliche at least a little bit. You've got like the tortured rocker kind of goth kid.
Yep.
You've got the skinnier nerdy kid with the glasses.
You of course have the heavy kid
who they say you look like you're in your 30s at one point. They're like, it's okay if you drive around.
All of us heavy kids looked older for some reason. We could always pass.
Yeah, a little taller.
Exactly.
Yeah. The wild hair going on, but yeah, all of the kids, like both individually and as an ensemble, they all played off one another so well, and that's what made me feel like I was 16 again.
Right.
Now,
the effects. Now, coming off of Turbo Kid, which was an extraordinarily effects-heavy, old-school throwback movie,
bloody.
There is next to none in this. I mean, it's not about that. There's a little bit. Tiny bit here and there, but it's not about that, and yet it's still super enjoyable. But this movie is not a movie that we're like, yes, the effects are what stands out. Because it's not.
Because it's not full-on horror either, though. This is more like mystery in a lot of ways. Mystery thriller
with
kind
some,
of thing.
Yeah, little horrific aspects in there, here and there.
Yeah.
But the big thing that we do need to talk about, the supplemental part of the film. Well, let's hit the cinematography before we talk about the sound.
Beautifully shot. Beautifully shot. Sweeping
gorgeous.
camera angles.
It took its time. It didn't feel rushed. It wasn't choppy. And it felt so 80s. It definitely felt like in the vein of those old Spielbergian kind of, films.
It did. And just the shots of the suburbia were very pretty, whether they were in the forest or whether they're just, driving through the streets and stuff like that. The tranquility and just the authenticity of the place was what really sold it to me even more so. It felt like a snapshot from a previous time. It didn't feel like something that was made today that was throwing back or whatever. It felt just totally genuine.
Yeah, it absolutely did. And it's just great in that way, but the thing I want to talk about is the sound and the music.
Yes,
because
you know how much I love the music.
I know, man. The music was so great. That was the crowning achievement for Turbo Kid, and that, to us, was the forerunner for It Follows, which was the big breakout sort of thing that everyone thinks brought back the 80s synth thing, but it was actually Turbo Kid.
In a lot of ways, I think.
But this carries it, but it's not super over the top like I felt It Follows was.
And it wasn't quite as like up tempo all the time like Turbo Kid was too.
Right.
This had more of like a dark synthy like slant to it, and I love the dark synth stuff, whether it's Mega Drive or Dance with the Dead. I mean, lots of these bands that are doing this kind of. You feel like you're in an 80s thriller horror film, like you're transported right back there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's completely of the time that they're going for. They did such a great job overall as filmmakers with this. And
I love how they didn't try to duplicate the Turbo Kid process. There were similar sensibilities, but this was a totally different effort in pretty much every way.
Absolutely. But it was such a successful one. That, I mean, I have to absolutely recommend to you guys, just like Turbo Kid we saw it at a festival, I think, early as well, or
that we saw at Film Bar, actually.
Film Bar, right. But we knew about it before a lot of people. Again, now we know about this before a lot of people. You guys got to seek it out. You got to put it on your list to make sure you stay on top of the news and watch it when it comes out. It also has it has a really good ending. I'll say that much.
The ending is terrific to this movie.
The ending is fantastic.
Yes.
And some people might be frustrated by it, but I thought it was perfect.
It did some surprising things for me without spoiling anything.
So I think that's going to do it for our review of Summer of '84. High recommendation for you guys. Keep your eye out for it. We're going to be back to do some more reviews. We already watched 3 movies my first day. Fuego had already seen some before that. But thank you guys very much for watching. Until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
Gracias, I've been Jaime and Fuego. And
first, huge thanks to Monty
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
From the International Horror and Sci-Fi Film Festival. And, of course, Jason from the Phoenix Film Festival.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys very much for letting us come out and do this. Plus, Patrick from Allied.
Yes.
Thank you very much to them.
Yeah, learn more about the International Horror Sci-Fi Film Festival at HorrorSci-Fi.com, guys.
Absolutely. So thanks again for watching. Until next time, wait, did we already do that part? Okay, all right. So thanks again for watching, and remember, stay scared.